Hello again. So I'm doing the next question. At a certain university, students who live in the dormitories eat at a common dining hall. Recently, some students have been complaining about the quality of the food served there. The dining hall manager decided to do a survey to estimate the proportion of students living in the dorms who think the quality of the food should be improved. One evening, the manager asked the first 100 students entering the dining hall to answer the following question. Many students believe that the food served in the dining hall needs improvement. Do you think that the quality of food needs improvement, even though that would increase the cost of the meal plan? In this setting, explain how bias may have been introduced based on the way this convenience sample was selected, and suggest how the sample could have been selected differently to avoid that bias. So, by selecting the first 100, oh my gosh, hold on. The first 100 students, those are the ones who were like super hyped to eat some of this dining hall food. So I really don't think you're going to get, a very accurate view of how the general population views it. And your population is not just the students, the first 100 students, the ones who get there first. It's all the students in the dormitories. So what you would need to do is sample out of the dormitories. Even if you were still going to do that, just the 100 student sample, you could pass it in the dorms, like randomly pick the rooms, like maybe like start on a random room and then pick every second room or something, like every third, fourth, whatever room. Because if it's bad enough, some students aren't even going to eat there. They're going to go somewhere else, or they're going to not be in a hurry to get there, stuff like that. They might find alternative options. So by doing this, you're getting those students involved in the sample too, which is going to give you a more accurate representation and a better sample. It won't be such a convenient sample. In this setting, explain how bias may have been introduced. Okay, sorry, I'm back. My dad wanted me. So where was I? In this setting, explain how bias may have been introduced based on the way the question was worded, and suggest how it could have been worded differently to avoid that bias. So in my opinion, this part is not relevant to the actual question being asked. Do you think the quality of the food served needs improvement, even though that would increase the cost of the meal plan? Because really, this isn't relevant. We're asking if the food needs improvement, but this is dissuading people from answering yes, even if they think that the food needs improvement, because they don't want to pay more for the dining plan. So I think either by getting rid of this or making it a separate question. So do you think the quality of food served needs improvement? ? Done. And then let them do that. And then and then a second, if you needed to include this part, which honestly, I don't really think you do, but if you wanted to, would you be willing to pay an increased meal plan? Or would you be willing to pay this much more for a meal plan? Because this is vague. But if you can give them a concrete estimate, I think that it would make the answers more honest as well. So it does make it a little bit more complicated. But if you wanted to get this answer, would you be willing to pay however much more? Find out a way to estimate that. I'm sure it's not hard. For a meal plan, and see what they say. So that would definitely help out the bias situation. So yeah, just in general, trying not to pick convenient samples, by getting the first 100 people to come into the dining hall, and then fixing the wording of this question so that it doesn't dissuade honesty, because that is what that's doing right there, because nobody really wants to pay more. So I think that this is just not a very good way to word that. All right, I've talked all that I can talk. So bye bye, Miss Kotzer.